Dr. Alex Morgan stared at the monitor in disbelief. The blips on the radar weren't asteroids or comets. They moved with purpose, changing direction in ways natural objects couldn't. "Someone needs to see this," he whispered, reaching for his phone. 3 days later, Alex stood in a room filled with military officials and government leaders. His discovery had set off a chain reaction across the globe. "These objects are artificial structures," Alex explained, pointing to the screen. "They're approaching Earth at an alarming speed. We estimate they'll reach Mars' orbit in less than a week." Major Sam Winters shifted in his seat. After 15 years in the Air Force, he thought he'd seen everything. He was wrong. "What are our options?" asked the president. General Franklin cleared his throat. "We formed a global defense task force. Major Winters will lead our air response team." Across the country at the SETI Institute, Lisa Reeves hadn't slept in 48 hours. The radio signals were unlike anything she'd ever encountered. Complex, structured, and definitely not random. "I found a pattern," she announced to her team. "It repeats every 17.3 seconds. This is communication." As the world's militaries went on high alert, ordinary citizens noticed something was wrong. News channels reported unusual military movement. Social media buzzed with conspiracy theories. 7 days after Alex's discovery, the alien fleet entered Mars' orbit. Earth watched through telescopes as massive ships positioned themselves in formation. Their design was elegant yet menacing, smooth, dark hulls with glowing blue lines running along their surfaces. The first message came through every electronic device simultaneously. Screens worldwide displayed the same image. A tall, slender figure with pale blue skin and 4 arms. Its eyes were large and completely black. "People of Earth," the alien spoke in perfect English. "I am Ambassador Zorkan of the Galactic Empire of Krathul. Your planet is now under our protection and control. Resistance is unnecessary and will result in consequences." UN Secretary Diane Foster was chosen to respond. With trembling hands, she stood before a global broadcast. "We welcome peaceful contact with your civilization," she said. "Earth wishes to establish diplomatic relations based on mutual respect." The response came immediately. Ambassador Zorkan's face showed what might have been amusement. "Diplomacy is for equals," he said. "You are not our equals. The Krathul Empire spans 1,000 worlds across 3 spiral arms of the galaxy. We require your resources. Your cooperation will determine how many of your people survive." The world's leaders met in emergency session. Some argued for immediate surrender. Others insisted on fighting. As they debated, the alien fleet moved closer. Major Sam Winters prepared his pilots. "We don't know what we're facing," he told them. "But we've never backed down from a fight, and we won't start now." Lisa Reeves worked frantically to decode more alien transmissions. "They're talking about mining operations," she told Alex over a secure line. "They see Earth as a resource, not a civilization." The first attack came at dawn. Smaller ships descended on major cities. They didn't open fire immediately. Instead, they hovered, scanning. In Washington, D.C., Alex watched from the Pentagon as live feeds showed the ships worldwide. "Why aren't they attacking?" someone asked. "They're assessing our defenses," Sam answered grimly. When the attack finally began, it was swift and precise. The aliens targeted military installations first. Bases around the world reported devastating weapons that seemed to bend light itself. As night fell on the first day of the assault, Earth was reeling. Communications were disrupted. Power grids failed in targeted areas. In the White House Situation Room, the president received the first casualty reports. The numbers were staggering. "Get me everything we know about their technology," he ordered. "And find me a weakness." Sam Winters looked at satellite images of the destruction. "This is just the beginning," he said quietly. "They haven't shown us their full strength yet." No one in the room disagreed. 3 days after the first attack, San Francisco burned. Alien ships hovered above the city. firing blue energy beams that cut through buildings like paper. People ran through streets filled with smoke and falling debris. Jack Pearson was driving his delivery truck when the attack began. He watched in horror as a nearby apartment building collapsed. A school bus swerved to avoid the rubble and flipped onto its side. Without thinking, Jack ran to the bus. Children screamed inside as smoke began to fill the vehicle. The driver was unconscious, slumped over the wheel. "This way," Jack shouted, forcing the emergency door open. He lifted children out one by one, guiding them to a subway entrance across the street. As the last child escaped, a craftful ship passed overhead. Jack dove into the subway just as the beam hit where he had been standing seconds before. In Chicago, Lieutenant Kate Daniels led her fighter squadron into the sky. They were outnumbered 10-1. "Stay in formation," she ordered through her radio. "Remember your training." The alien fighters were faster and more maneuverable. 2 of Kate's pilots went down in the first minute. She gritted her teeth and locked onto an enemy ship. Her missiles hit their target, and the alien craft spiraled down in flames. "They can be killed," she said, more to herself than her squadron. But for every alien ship they destroyed, 3 more appeared. After 20 minutes of battle, Kate was the only pilot left. With her fuel nearly gone, she made a desperate decision. She aimed her fighter directly at the largest alien ship and pushed her throttle to maximum. At the last second, she ejected. Her parachute opened as her fighter crashed into the alien vessel. The explosion tore a hole in the side of the enemy ship. As Kate drifted down over Lake Michigan, she watched the massive craft lose altitude and crash into the empty Navy pier. Underground, in a hastily converted lab beneath Denver, Dr. Peter Collins studied a piece of alien technology. A damaged weapon had been recovered from a downed fighter. Peter had been working nonstop to understand how it functioned. "The energy signature is unlike anything we've seen," he told his team. "It's not plasma or laser. It's something new." On the surface, the situation grew worse. The Krath-Ul attacked communication centers, cutting off regions from each other. Internet connections failed. Cell towers went dark. Television broadcasts showed only static. Military forces retreated to hardened bunkers and mountain bases. Civilians hid wherever they could. Some fled to rural areas, hoping distance would provide safety. Emperor Valthar of the Krath-Ul addressed Earth again. His message played on any working screens and radios. "Your resistance is noted," he said coldly, "and it is futile. Your world will serve as a mining colony. Those who cooperate will be permitted to live as workers. Those who resist will be eliminated." Major Sam Winters stood with his remaining pilots at the Rocky Mountain base. They had been fighting for 72 hours straight, snatching sleep in 20-minute intervals. "They're pushing toward Denver," one of his officers reported. "Estimate 200 ships." Sam nodded. "We have 43 fighters left. Get them in the air." The Battle of Denver became the largest air battle in human history. Sam led his pilots against overwhelming odds. They used the mountains for cover, drawing alien ships into narrow canyons where their superior maneuverability meant less. For a brief moment, it seemed like they might hold. Then the Krath-Ul unleashed their heavy weapons. Beams of intense blue energy swept across the mountains, vaporizing everything they touched. Sam watched in horror as entire mountainsides disappeared, his radio filled with the screams of his pilots. As night fell, Sam's fighter was one of only 7 to return to base. The mountains around Denver had been reshaped by alien weapons. Where there had once been peaks, there were now smooth, glassy craters. "We can't beat them in a direct fight," Sam told the base commander. "We need another way." In the darkness of that night, as smoke filled the sky above half the world's cities, humanity began to understand the true scale of what they faced. 6 months passed. Earth was different now. Cities lay in ruins. Alien mining operations carved huge pits in the land. Massive ships hung in the sky like new moons. But humans did not surrender. Alan Wright never expected to lead anyone. Before the invasion, He taught history at a small college. Now he led the largest resistance cell in North America. The shipment from Chicago arrives tonight, he told his lieutenants in their underground base. Food, medicine, and some weapons. What Alan didn't say was how many people died to get those supplies. Each victory came with a terrible cost. In a hidden lab beneath the ruins of Seattle, Lisa Reeves made a discovery that might change everything. "Look at this," she said to her assistant, pointing at a broken piece of alien technology. "Their shields operate on a specific frequency. If we can match it exactly, our weapons might pass right through." Lisa hadn't slept more than 3 hours at a time since the invasion began. Dark circles marked her eyes. Her hands shook from too much coffee and too little food. But her mind remained sharp. 50 miles away, Olivia Garcia ran a secret hospital in an abandoned subway station. Once a nurse at Seattle General, she now treated wounded resistance fighters with limited supplies and equipment. "Hold him down," she ordered as a man screamed in pain. The fighter had been hit by an alien weapon. The wound glowed with a strange blue light. Olivia had seen these wounds before. Conventional treatments didn't work. She had developed her own methods through painful trial and error. Meanwhile, Sam Winters led a small team on a dangerous mission. They wore stolen alien armor and approached a Krath-Ol command ship that had landed for repairs. "Remember," Sam whispered to his team, "we need access to their central computer. No shooting unless absolutely necessary." The inside of the alien ship was surprisingly warm and humid. The walls pulsed with soft blue light. Sam and his team moved silently through curving corridors, avoiding patrols of 4 armed Krath-Ol soldiers. They reached the computer room without being detected. Sam stood guard while his tech expert, Ben, connected their device to the alien system. "I'm in," Ben whispered after tense minutes. "Downloading their files now." A sound made Sam turn. A Krath-Ol officer stood in the doorway, its black eyes widening in surprise. Sam fired before the alien could call for help. The officer fell silently. "We need to move," Sam said. "Now." They barely escaped as alarms began to sound. Running through the night, they'd made it to their hidden vehicle and sped away. Hours later, in a secure room, Sam and Ben examined what they had stolen. "This is incredible," Ben said, looking at the translated files. "They expected us to surrender within days. Their reports show they've lost more ships and troops than planned. They're actually concerned." Sam studied a map showing Krath-Ol positions worldwide. "They've underestimated us," he said. "But we're still outgunned." Meanwhile, Lieutenant Kate Daniels, who had survived her crash in Chicago, led a raid on an alien research facility in what used to be Toronto. Her team moved through the night, using sewers to approach the target. "Our intel says they're studying human biology in there," Kate told her team. "We need to know what they've learned and what they're planning." The raid was quick and violent. Kate's team caught the alien scientists by surprise. They secured computers and samples before setting explosives. 5 minutes to detonation, her explosives expert announced. "Time to go." As they escaped, Kate clutched a small drive containing alien research data. She didn't know it yet, but combined with Sam's stolen files and Lisa's breakthrough, humanity now had the beginnings of a real plan. Later that week, in the Resistance's main command center, a former nuclear bunker in the Appalachian Mountains, leaders from around the world gathered. Some attended via secure video links. Others had risked everything to come in person. Alan Wright stood and addressed the room. "Today," he said, "we begin Operation Thunderstrike. The time for just surviving is over. Now we fight back." Dr. Alex Morgan noticed it first. The Krath-Ol soldiers in California were getting sick. It started with what looked like a rash on their blue skin. Then came coughing and weakness. Earth's bacteria and viruses are affecting them, Alex told his team. They have no immunity to our microbes. This discovery traveled quickly through resistance channels. Humanity had an unexpected ally in microscopic life forms that had evolved on Earth for billions of years. In his underground lab, Peter Collins made another breakthrough. After months of work, he successfully reverse-engineered the alien shield technology. "It's not perfect," he explained as his team tested the prototype. "Our version only lasts about 10 minutes before the power cells burn out. But it's a start." Even this limited protection could change everything. Resistance fighters could now approach alien positions with some defense against their weapons. Across the occupied territories, Jack Pearson built something different: a network of people. After saving those children in San Francisco, he had dedicated himself to creating an intelligence system. Delivery drivers, farmers, maintenance workers, people the aliens considered harmless, became his eyes and ears. "The Krath-Ol are moving a large mining machine toward Seattle," Jack reported to Alan Wright. 3 ships and about 50 soldiers as guards. Such information allowed the resistance to plan their attacks carefully, striking where the aliens were weakest. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a former research station now serving as a secret base, Diane Foster coordinated the remaining governments. Some countries had surrendered. Others fought on in various ways. Diane's job was to keep them working together. Australia reports successful raids on 2 mining operations, she told the Emergency Council. Brazil has disrupted their supply lines in the Amazon. "We're making progress." But the resistance had noticed something strange. During attacks, human emotions seemed to confuse the aliens. Krath-Ol soldiers reacted oddly to intense fear, rage, or determination from nearby humans. Lisa Reeves studied this phenomenon. "I think they're telepathic," she concluded. "They can sense emotions, but human feelings are different from theirs. Our emotional states create a kind of static in their minds." Resistance fighters began to use this advantage. Before attacks, they would focus on their strongest emotions: their anger at the invasion, their love for those they had lost. It wasn't a weapon exactly, but it helped. The aliens noticed the change in human tactics. Emperor Valthar demanded reports from his commanders. Their losses were increasing. Mining operations fell behind schedule. "These humans are more troublesome than expected," Valthar told his war council. "Increase our forces. I want 3 more battle fleets diverted to this planet." Sam Winters discovered this plan during another intelligence mission. His team intercepted a transmission from the Emperor's flagship orbiting the moon. "They're calling for reinforcements," Sam reported to resistance leadership. "But there's something else. Earth was specifically targeted for a reason." The data showed that Earth contained unusually high concentrations of certain rare elements. Elements the Krath-Ol Empire desperately needed for their technology. "This isn't just about adding another planet to their empire," Sam explained. "They need what's in our ground. That's why they hit us so hard and so fast." This knowledge spread through resistance channels. The aliens weren't invincible gods. They were an empire with needs and limitations. They could be beaten. As Operation Thunderstrike preparations continued, a new feeling spread among humans, not just anger or determination, but something that had been missing for months: hope. In resistance bases around the world, fighters checked weapons and studied plans. In hidden labs, scientists worked on new ways to fight back. In underground hospitals, the wounded recovered, ready to rejoin the fight. And in space, unaware of what was coming, the Krath-Ol continued their work, certain of their superiority over the troublesome humans of planet Earth. Operation Thunderstrike began at dawn. Across the world, resistance fighters attacked alien strongholds simultaneously. The timing was crucial. The Krath-Ol would have no chance to warn each other or send reinforcements. Lieutenant Kate Daniels led a squadron of 12 fighters into the sky above what remained of London. Her pilots flew a mix of human jets and captured alien craft. All were equipped with Peter Collins' shield technology. "Remember," Kate said over the radio, "hit their communication towers first. Then target their fuel reserves." Her squadron swooped down on the massive alien base. The Krath-Ol responded quickly, launching their own fighters. But something was different this time. The human pilots weren't immediately shot down. Colin's shields worked, absorbing several hits before failing. In Seattle, Olivia Garcia prepared for the wounded who would soon arrive. But she had another job today. For months, she had studied crathal biology from recovered specimens. Now she had developed a biological agent that targeted the aliens' respiratory systems. To deploy it through their air filtration systems, she instructed the strike teams. It won't kill them immediately, but it will weaken them significantly. Alan Wright coordinated civilian uprisings in major occupied cities. At exactly the same time, people emerged from hiding and attacked crathal patrols with whatever weapons they had. Many civilians died, but their sacrifice allowed resistance fighters to enter the cities undetected. In orbit, Sam Winters led the mission's most dangerous operation. His team of 20 elite soldiers approached a crathal battle cruiser in a small, unmarked transport. "Sending the identification codes now," Sam's communications officer said. These codes had been stolen during previous raids. The massive ship allowed them to dock. Sam's team moved quickly through the corridors, heading for the bridge. They encountered resistance, but their new shields and weapons, combined with months of practice fighting the aliens, gave them the edge. After 20 minutes of intense fighting, Sam stood on the bridge of the captured battle cruiser. Half his team was dead or wounded, but they had accomplished the impossible. "Begin power-up sequence," he ordered. "Let's see what this thing can do." On the ground, the Battle of the Rocky Mountain Fortress marked the aliens' first major defeat. The crathal had converted a mountain range into a massive mining and processing facility. The resistance hit it with everything they had. Lisa Reeves monitored the battle from a command center. Her communication jammer, perfected after months of work, blocked the aliens from coordinating their defense. Cut off from each other, the crathal forces fell into confusion. "It's working," Lisa whispered as she watched the tactical display. Human forces pushed forward, capturing section after section of the fortress. The most surprising help came from an unexpected source. A crathal officer named Zexnor approached a human patrol under a flag of truce. He had seen enough death and believed the Empire's attack on Earth was dishonorable. "Your resistance is unprecedented," Zexnor told resistance leaders after being brought to a secure location. "No species has ever fought back so effectively against the Empire." Zexnor provided invaluable information about crathal ship weaknesses, command structures, and battle plans. Some humans didn't trust him, but his intelligence proved accurate time after time. By sunset, humanity had won more victories in a single day than in all the previous months combined. The crathal were in retreat in multiple regions. Several of their major bases had fallen. For the first time, alien ships fled from human attacks rather than standing their ground. In his orbiting flagship, Emperor Valthar received the reports with growing rage. His officers trembled as he executed 3 of them for their failures. "This cannot stand," Valthar said. "Prepare my personal guard. I will lead the next assault myself." As night fell on Earth, resistance leaders assessed their gains. They had captured weapons, vehicles, and most importantly, a crathal battle cruiser. The tide was turning. Sam Winters looked out from the bridge of the captured ship, now in a stable orbit around Earth. He allowed himself a small smile. "Send a message to all resistance cells," he said. "Tell them the ship is ours. And we're coming for the rest of them." 2 weeks after Operation Thunderstrike, humanity took the fight to the crathal in Earth orbit. The captured battle cruiser, now named Humanity's Vengeance, led the assault. Sam Winters stood on its bridge, watching Earth grow smaller as they approached the alien fleet. "All weapons systems ready," his weapons officer reported. "Shield strength at maximum." The crathal were not prepared for an attack from one of their own ships. By the time they realized what was happening, Sam had destroyed 3 enemy vessels and damaged 4 others. "Break formation and pursue individual targets," Sam ordered his helmsman. "Don't let them regroup." On Earth, Jack Pearson had a different battle to fight. He coordinated thousands of civilians who had taken over abandoned factories and workshops. They worked day and night, building weapons that combined human and alien technology. "We need more of the blue power cells," Jack told his production team in Detroit. "Without them, the pulse rifles won't work." Getting the materials was dangerous. Every raid on Krathul facilities cost lives, but the weapons they produced gave resistance fighters a fighting chance against alien technology. In his underground lab, Peter Collins unveiled his greatest creation. He called it the Excalibur Project, a massive weapon that combined the most destructive aspects of human and alien technology. "It works by inverting the energy frequency of their shields," Peter explained to resistance leaders. "Instead of protecting them, it will cause their shields to implode, creating a chain reaction." Building Excalibur required resources from all over the world. Teams were dispatched to gather the necessary components, often from the heart of enemy territory. In orbit, Kate Daniels led a desperate mission. Intelligence revealed that a Krathul supply convoy was heading to Earth with weapons and reinforcements. Kate's squadron of fighters, launched from Humanity's Vengeance, moved to intercept. "Target the lead ship's engines," Kate ordered her pilots, forced them to drop out of formation. The battle was fierce. Krathul escorts protected the supply ships with deadly efficiency. Kate's squadron took heavy losses. As the last supply ship attempted to escape, Kate made her decision. "My engines are damaged and weapons are offline," she reported to Sam. "But I still have control surfaces." Before anyone could stop her, Kate aimed her crippled fighter at the supply ship's main fuel section. Her last words came through the static of the radio. "For Earth." The explosion destroyed the supply ship and all its cargo. Kate's sacrifice saved countless lives on the ground, but the cost was high. Sam received news of the victory with mixed emotions. Every win seemed to come with terrible losses. But they couldn't stop now. Humanity's Vengeance joined other captured alien vessels in an assault on the Krathul command ship. Emperor Valthar, faced with an unprecedented defeat, ordered a retreat to the far side of the moon. Dr. Alex Morgan and his team worked on another front. They had managed to hack into the alien communication network. Now they prepared to send a message to other species under Krathul control. "We need to show them that the Empire can be defeated," Alex said as they finalized the transmission. "If other worlds rise up too, the Krathul won't be able to fight on multiple fronts." The message included battle footage showing human victories and technical data on Krathul weaknesses. It was broadcast on all frequencies used by the Empire. With the aliens in retreat, Sam Winters and Diane Foster prepared to deliver an ultimatum. They transmitted directly to Emperor Valthar's flagship. "You have 24 hours to begin withdrawing your forces from Earth," Diane stated firmly. "Any Krathul ships or personnel remaining after that time will be destroyed." Valthar's response was immediate and chilling. "You have accomplished nothing," the Emperor said. "My reinforcement fleet has already departed our home system. When they arrive, your world will burn." Sam looked at Diane. They had expected this. Phase 1 of humanity's plan had succeeded. They had forced the Krathul back. But the real test was still to come. "Alert all commands," Sam said. "We have 3 weeks to prepare for the second wave." The Krathul reinforcement fleet arrived exactly when Valthar had promised. It emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system, a massive armada that dwarfed the first invasion force. Thousands of ships formed a wall of metal and energy that moved steadily toward Earth. Sam Winters watched the approaching fleet from the bridge of Humanity's Vengeance. "There are too many," his tactical officer said quietly. Sam nodded. "We always knew we couldn't match them ship for ship, but we don't have to." Earth's combined forces prepared for what might be their last stand. Every captured alien vessel, every modified human fighter, and every weapon was ready. This time, they would not be caught by surprise. Alan Wright coordinated a global network of guerrilla fighters. They couldn't defeat the aliens in direct combat, but they could disrupt their operations on the ground. "Focus on their landing zones," Alan instructed his team leaders. "Don't let them establish a foothold." In her lab, Olivia Garcia prepared the biological agent for mass deployment. What had begun as a way to weaken individual Krathel soldiers had been refined into something more potent. "We'll release it through their atmospheric processors," she explained to her team. "They use these to adjust our air to their preferences. We'll turn their own systems against them." Alex Morgan and Lisa Reeves worked together on their most ambitious project yet. They had built a device that could redirect the Krathel's energy weapons. "It creates a feedback loop," Lisa explained to resistance leaders. "When they fire at us, the energy will be channeled back to its source." While scientists and soldiers prepared for battle, Jack Pearson focused on saving lives. He organized the evacuation of civilians to hardened underground shelters. "Take only what you need," he told families as they boarded transport vehicles. "Food, water, medicine. Leave everything else." Some people refused to go, choosing instead to join the fight. Jack didn't try to stop them. Every person had to make their own choice now. The massive Battle of Earth began 3 days after the reinforcement fleet arrived. It started in space, with Krathel ships launching a full assault on Earth's defenses. Human and captured alien vessels fought desperately to slow the advance. Sam Winters led the space battle from humanity's vengeance. His ship took heavy damage in the first hour. "Shields failing," his systems officer reported. "Hull breaches on decks 3 through 7. Reroute power from non-essential systems," Sam ordered, "and prepare to implement Phase 2. On the ground, the fighting spread across every continent. The Krathul landed troops in massive numbers. But everywhere they went, they faced resistance. Humans fought with a combination of determination and cunning that the aliens struggled to counter. Alan Wright's guerrilla fighters struck from hiding, using knowledge of the terrain to their advantage. In cities, buildings became fortresses. In forests, trees provided cover for ambushes. In deserts, sand concealed mines and traps. Olivia Garcia's biological agent spread through alien ranks, causing respiratory distress and weakness. It wasn't enough to stop them, but it slowed their advance and made them vulnerable to attack. The tide began to turn when Lisa and Alex's device was activated. As Krathel ships fired on Earth, their energy beams twisted in midair, curving back to strike their sources. Alien vessels were destroyed by their own weapons. In his flagship, Emperor Valthar watched with growing fury as his supposedly easy victory turned into a desperate struggle. "They cannot resist us," he raged to his officers. "We are the Krathel Empire. We have conquered 1,000 worlds." Valthar ordered his personal guard to prepare for planetary assault. He would lead the final attack himself, showing these humans the true might of the Empire. Sam received word of the Emperor's plan through their intelligence network. "This is it," he told his crew. "Valthar is coming down. All units prepare for Operation Kingslayer." The final phase of humanity's defense was about to begin. Emperor Valthar's flagship descended toward Earth like a dark star. Surrounded by elite guard ships, it cut through the atmosphere. Heading for the ruins of what was once Washington, D.C., the massive vessel, 10 times larger than any other Krathel ship, cast shadows over the broken city below. Sam Winters watched from his command post. Humanity's vengeance had crash-landed after the space battle, but Sam and most of his crew survived. Now they waited with the last of their weapons. "All teams report ready," his communications officer said. Sam nodded. "Tell them to hold until my signal." The Emperor's ship landed in the National Mall, crushing what remained of monuments and memorials. A ramp extended, and Valthar emerged, surrounded by his personal guard. The alien ruler stood 9 feet tall, his blue skin covered in ceremonial armor that glowed with power. "Humans," his amplified voice boomed across the ruins. "Your resistance ends today. I offer you one last chance to surrender." His answer came in the form of Peter Collins' Excalibur weapon. Hidden in the ruins of the Lincoln Memorial, the massive device fired a beam of inverted energy. It struck the Emperor's ship, causing its shields to collapse inward. The resulting explosion destroyed half the vessel and killed hundreds of Krathel soldiers. Valthar survived, protected by his personal shield. His rage was terrible to behold. "Kill them all," he ordered his remaining forces. No survivors. The battle that followed was the most intense of the entire war. Alan Wright's guerrilla fighters emerged from hiding places throughout the city. Olivia Garcia's biological agent was released in its most concentrated form. Lisa Reeves and Alex Morgan activated energy redirection devices at key points around the battlefield. In orbit, the last of Earth's space forces engaged the remaining Krathul fleet. Many human pilots flew one-way missions, ramming their damaged vessels into alien ships when their weapons were depleted. Jack Pearson led civilian militia units in attacks on the alien ground forces. Armed with hybrid weapons, ordinary people fought with extraordinary courage. Sam Winters led the final assault on Emperor Valthar himself. With 50 of Earth's best soldiers, Sam fought through waves of Krathul guards. Their progress was slow and costly. One by one, Sam's team fell, but they pushed forward. Valthar watched the humans approach with disbelief. No species had ever mounted such effective resistance against the Empire. No world had ever caused such losses. "You cannot defeat me," Valthar said as Sam finally stood before him. "I am the Krathul Emperor. I have ruled 1,000 worlds for centuries." Sam was bloody and wounded. He held the last working prototype of Peter Collins' shield inverter. "You made a mistake coming to Earth," Sam said simply. Then he activated the device. Valthar's personal shield collapsed inward, just as his ships had done. The Emperor's scream echoed across the battlefield as he was consumed by his own protective energy. With their Emperor dead, the Krathul Empire began to fracture. Ships retreated in disorder. Some alien commanders surrendered. Others fought to the death. But their coordinated assault was broken. In the months that followed, humanity used captured alien technology to establish a defensive perimeter around the solar system. The Krathul would not catch them unprepared again. Alex Morgan's message to other subjugated species bore fruit. Rebellions broke out across the Empire. Without Valthar's leadership, the Krathul couldn't fight wars on multiple fronts. Peter Collins and Lisa Reeves led the effort to adapt alien faster-than-light technology for human use. The first human interstellar vessel, named Earth's Hope, was built from parts of destroyed Krathul ships. Sam Winters, one of the few leaders to survive the war, became the commander of Earth's new combined space defense force. Diane Foster negotiated alliances with liberated alien civilizations. Jack Pearson and Olivia Garcia established a memorial for the billions lost in the war. It stood where Valthar had fallen, a simple stone pillar with the words, "They came to conquer. They learned instead." The galaxy would never forget the lesson. Never underestimate humans, or they might just kill you all.